Hey y'all, so I'm back from Austin. I'm hitting the ground running. This is my review for SWV Xscape, the Queens of R&B. Still hate the name, but it's episode 2, and we left off on a very heated exchange between the two sisters of Xscape, Tamika and Latasha, and their mom included. It seemed like it's 2 against 1, but Tamika revealed that Latasha, and most likely her husband too, stole $30,000 in royalty that was owed to her, and she says her mom knew about it and didn't hold her sister accountable. She calls her mom out for the blatant favoritism, but her mom is like, cut the cameras, get out my house. So we're out the house, and the cameraman is still capturing what's going on, and this is very real. This is real family drama. Tamika is in tears, she's crying. She's like, Mama, you know she lying. Like, you know that happened. I believe Tamika. They are going back and forth. Her mom sees the cameras and you could tell like she didn't want this to be put on air. But ma'am, respectfully, you did sign a waiver for them to film you so they can use this footage. Her daughter's just staying out of it, but it looks like Tamika's about to go. Latasha's over it. It looks like this definitely created a divide in the family. It's sad to see. But Tamika, she is furious right now because her mom is not taking any accountability, and it actually looks like she's pretending like she don't know what Tamika is talking about. We see Tamika get in her car with her daughter. She said her own daughter didn't even know this. It feels like this revelation came out in the heat of the moment. I don't even think Tamika came with the intention of revealing that type of information, but it feels like she's had it with her mom, like always taking her sister's side. And what a way to start off the episode. Like, I'm really curious, present day, is she speaking to her sister or her mother after this? So it's the following day. We get a little montage of what the ladies at SWV are doing. We see Coco and her son together for the first time on here, and I love that he has his nails just like his mom used to have. I love that. But next scene, we're with Candy now at the candy factory, and it looks like all the members of Xscape, well, so far it's just the 3 of them, and Tamika's letting them know what happened between her and her sister. We cut to Tamika's confessional, and she's saying when she first told her mom about her sister stealing her money, she said her mom actually defended Latasha and said, well, you don't know what she was going through, maybe she needed the money. And Tamika said that she was pregnant at the time, and also her daughter was going to college. She is so hurt by this. I don't think she's making this up, y'all. That is despicable if that's what Latasha did. And Tamika's a saint for moving past this and even being able to perform with her sister, knowing this information. Ooh, Latasha, you ain't looking good on this series, boo. Like, damn. Like, I hope there's some type of redemption for you by the last episode. Because you can have all the talent in the world. If you're not likable, your album's going to go styrofoam. And speaking of the devil, we cut to Latasha the problem talking to her shady husband about what happened between her and her sister. So they're saying it's not true. So your sister's just making all this up. I would love to hear them explain this. Latasha then says in her confessional that her sister has a tendency to lie. But I'm like, what's the motive here? Like, why would she try to defame her own sister and then ruin her own bad with you not being in Xscape? Latasha's now trying to make it about Tamika disrespecting their mom. Then we cut to the rest of Xscape, and Tamika is playing a voicemail her mom sent her. Basically, she's saying that she don't have no God in her to listen to righteousness. Her mom is completely on her sister's side, and she even threatens to whip her ass. Wow. This is some real family drama. It's starting to look like the Xscape show featuring SWV. Tamika's just expressing her disappointment and says she never went against her sister. She always went along with what her sister said, and that was the reason why the group broke up in the first place, it looked like. Candy and Tiny are just like, well, Tiny just be laughing at the drama, but it really feels like Candy's been vindicated because they really tried to make her out to be the problem, but no, it's Latasha who is the problem. Hey, at the end of the day, Tamika can sing all her sister's parts. Xscape could be a threesome. I don't know what needs to happen with Latasha. There would need to be a come to Jesus moment concerning her. She would have to like write a check out to Tamika for $30,000, apologize to Candy, something. But I can't see Xscape as a foursome. We come back to Latasha, and she says she don't even know if she wants to perform with Xscape ever again. And it looks like they're all meeting up soon anyway, so they're gonna have to talk about it. And Tamika suggests security for it. All right, so we take a break from this Xscape drama, and now we're with Lily of SWV. Side note, I had no idea that everybody's in Atlanta, like SWV, Xscape, hell, TLC. I'm surprised Bravo didn't even approach SWV, like at least one of the ladies, to be on Housewives of Atlanta. So Lily's talking to her sister, and are they from New York? Because they've said coffee at least 5 or 6 times. I love how Lily talked though. My sister is the matriarch of this family. I feel like she gotta be from Harlem or the Bronx. You know what? I want to Google this. Yep, I was right. She's from the Boogie Down Bronx. I knew it. Oh, so we're getting some background on Lily, and if I would have just waited, she just said that she was from the Bronx, New York. So Lily comes from humble beginnings. She was a teen mom, but she was a singer back in the day, and her part-time job was creating that demo with SWV. Damn, I know they were that young. All right, for the trip down memory lane. Love will be right here. And then the Human Nature remix that changed everything. Like back in my day where we had real remixes. And by the way, I don't care that we're just watching Lily making breakfast with her sister. We are getting music history behind SWV. So I am fully entertained. Plus, we all needed a break from that hard escape drama. So next scene, we see Tamika meeting up with Taj, and she's letting her know all the drama she's going through. She's saying the reason why she's followed Latasha for so long is because that is how she got her mom's approval. And now that she's not blindly following her sister, she feels like her mom is against her. Woo, this makes me glad I'm an only child. Well, for my mom at least. Taj tries to give her some advice and just says her mom really needs to step to the side and let the sisters work on it. The sisters and their mom could definitely use the expertise of a group therapist, and once they're done with that, they need to use it for escape too. So next scene, we're at Tiny's house and she's trying to make drinks for the ladies. This is the day of their meeting with Xscape. All 4 girls are going to be there. We hear from Tiny that she has 5 houses, and I just be forgetting that she rich. I mean, T.I. of course. And then she's talking about her no scrubs money when she said that's when the real money came in. Ain't that something? She was in Xscape, they sold millions of records, but the real money came in when she wrote No Scrubs. I mean, look at Candy. I mean, her pen been working for years and she is very rich. And if she wanted to take care of every motherfucker in that group, she could. 2 Atlanta references. I'm here all day, y'all. So of course, all 3 of the girls are there and they're waiting on Latasha the problem. I mean, to be quite honest, I love the energy of these 3 women right here. Just make Xscape a trio. Creamsicle mimosas? I don't know. We cut to Tiny's confessional and she's just saying that the group is too grown and too old to let petty things come between them and their money. So the focus of this meeting is to get the sisters back on the right track again. Good luck. All right, so the problem has arrived and we have all 4 members together. I mean, she come in with the stank look on her face. Also, you can tell that Tiny is kind of the peacemaker in the group because she gets along with everybody. And it seems like Tiny is the only one Tasha fucking with. So already the meeting is tense. And then Candy gives the floor to Latasha because it seemed like she's the one with the chip on her shoulder. Of course, Latasha's like, I don't know where to start. You can see Candy's face. She is holding it in. Candy, if you're watching, you are doing good so far. You are not letting her get to you like the last show. So Tiny starts the conversation off with talking about their management. Most of them feel like the current management they have dropped the ball with the momentum that they had with Versus. Like nothing came up out of that. Candy, now this confessional look, what is this? Where you going? In this outfit she has on, it looks like she needs a whip in one hand and a ball gag in the other. We cut to Tamika and she says it just so happens that their management is connected to Latasha and her man. They then ask Latasha what's her thoughts on that, and again, she doesn't have an opinion on the matter. She says, I'm just gonna pray on it. Girl, I pray you smile one day. We cut to Candy her confessional again. She's saying Latasha normally doesn't have an opinion on anything unless her brain is present. The other problem, her husband. And then production actually gives us proof of that in a very uncomfortable scene where we see Latasha in the confessional. She's being asked a question and her man come creeping behind her, whispering in her ear, trying to coach her what to say. This is sad seeing her husband take advantage of her, fucking up her bag, as well as her relationship with her sister. Latasha finally speaks up and says there's a lot of dysfunction in their group. There's no accountability, which is rich coming from her. And Tamika then asks her, are you mad at me? And she says, we're not even gonna get into that because it's concerning her mom. And she says she don't want to discuss her mom. Tamika's like, we can discuss it now. It ain't like they don't know what's going on. She still don't want to talk about it. And then Tamika tells her that she's just different. How she has a chip on her shoulder, and then production shows us how close they used to be. And it looked like they used to be best friends, like not that long ago, like around the first show, when it was the sisters against Candy. Latasha really strikes me as one of those sedity Christians who think they better than everybody. Tiny's trying to keep the peace, but it looks like meetings adjourn when Latasha just gets up. We then cut to Candy, who's just like, oh my God, Candy. I might have to dedicate a screenshot to that. Look at that face. She is tired. Candy suggests that the sisters work out what they're going through, then they can get back to a meeting amongst the group. They really didn't get a thing done during this gathering. They really could have talked it out, but again, the problem. We then see Tiny walking Tasha out, and Tiny's trying to be the voice of reason with Tasha, like saying, y'all gotta work it out and just see the bigger picture, like they told in the last episode. But according to Latasha, Tamika needs to make it right with their mom. She really crossed the line with that, and she says she don't care about no money or the tour. It's a no until they get it together. So Xscape the trio is looking better and better as the episodes progress. Latasha is sadly mistaken if she thinks this group can move forward without her. You are not Beyonce. Hell, you're not even Coco. And speaking of which, next scene we're with my girl Coco as she's going home, as well as Taj is going home too. So they all don't live in Atlanta. My bad. It looks like Coco lives in Virginia and Taj lives in Nashville. Oh, we're seeing Taj go home to her family. Her husband, fine. Taj is talking about how she hasn't been home in a month, and Atlanta is their hub where they rehearse and do business. She's also been touring. And I'm sad to say, y'all, but I have never seen SWV in concert, and I am going to change that. Taj, Lily, and Coco, I will see y'all. Like, if y'all come to New York, I follow all y'all on y'all accounts. Just let me know. Hey, invite me to a show like that too. Look. I wonder what it's like to just have a mom that's like a superstar, like a part of a legendary group. That has to be so fun. So there's this little moment where Taj asks her son, do you know who Xscape is? And I think he's like 17, so of course he doesn't. But then production, y'all are funny. So when she asked him that, they cut to Xscape saying, no, of course not. Me and Alex do that a lot, y'all. So, is production watching Pop Bros? Look, the youngsters, Gen Z and below, we are losing the recipes, y'all. I remember talking to somebody, they didn't know who TLC was. I almost fainted. Okay, so next scene, we're in Virginia with Coco as she's pulling up to her house in her Maserati. I see you. In this scene, Coco's with her mom and her son. Wow, Black does not crack. Her mom looks super young. And we see an old picture of them, and Coco has always had her signature nails. I just love it. So Coco was talking about her and her mom's relationship and how it was her mom who taught her how to sing. She also hinted at that her mom's like very much so a Christian. And I remember back when Coco said she wasn't going to sing Can We, Can We Get Kinky Tonight? Or Downtown, which is my favorite song. She said she wouldn't do that anymore because, in the name of the Lord. But I'm glad she changed her mind. You gotta go downtown. That's the way to my love. Take it round and round. Ooh, you can't stop till you find my love. That's the love that you've been dreaming of. Don't stop, don't stop. Okay, I'ma stop. Also, don't y'all remember back in the day where it felt like just all the good singers, like in R&B, they grew up in the church. And then, they would start doing secular music and going off. SWV, a gospel group? Now, Coco. Talking about people leaving their man, rain down on me. I knew what that was about. Also, You're the One for Me. Like, they had the best songs about creeping. Basically, her mom accepted the career when the checks started coming in, and she bought her a new car. So she's talking about her kids. She has 2 sons. The oldest one's a rapper, and then the youngest one that she's with now, he sings. But at first she thought he wanted to be a dentist, but he sings just like his mom. I see that he's singing with, what's that guy from LA? He's J-Lo's vocal coach. And look, if you can get J-Lo to sing, you can get anybody to sing. I swear, every time I see a scene with Coco and her son and how close they are, I just love how supportive she is of her son. Like, I'm just like, damn, I wish I had that growing up. I could have really used that, especially in high school. Don't get me wrong, I love my mom, but you know, we've had our issues. Anywho, next scene we're with Candy. She's headed to the candy factory again where she might drop some beats. Yep, they're dropping some beats in the studio. This engineer is cute. Sorry, y'all, I am single and horny. I notice everything. Yeah, I agree with Candy. Like, how does she even have time to like work on solo shit where she has like multiple businesses? She's on 2 reality shows at the same damn time, running a restaurant, etc. Being a producer on Broadway too. Forgot about that. Candy money gotta be long. Like, I wonder what's her net worth now. It has to be at least in the 40s, 40 million. So as Candace asks about the status of Xscape, we then cut to Latasha the Problem and her husband celebrating their anniversary. Now wait a minute, Tasha. She's talking about the drama that's going on with her sister, then talking about Xscape, and now she gets on Candy. Why? So Latasha pretty much confirms what Candy said earlier, that they've never really seen it for each other. But she's painting the picture that Candy was jealous of her, that she would get some parts. Why is she singing that? Then she brings Jermaine Dupri's name in it. Now, I just saw a video of Candy with the receipts, and she was talking about their first 2 albums and saying that, like, wait a minute, I would sing lead just as much as Latasha, if not more. And she went down both albums. Candy is many things. Like, she may be messy, the fashions ain't always hit sometimes, the rhythm is questionable, but she is not a liar. Candy has no reason to lie. We then cut to Candy, who just so happened to be talking about Latasha, and she brings up again how, like, way back in the day, it really started when, you know, the solo projects came into play. Todd is saying that maybe she's just resentful, like, she's not where you are. And I actually agree with Todd. I think that Tasha is very jealous of Candy. It's not the other way around. But you know what Candy has in her favor? Candy is likable. And Tasha, we do not need Inspector Gadget to find out why Candy don't fool with you. You are doing a great job displaying that on this show. I cannot with the Problem and her husband talking to each other. She thinks somehow Candy got her solo album shelved just so Candy can release her own solo album. Ooh, and there it is. So her husband's talking to her about this potential solo deal that she has in the works, and she has to travel for it. Who is gonna buy Latasha's solo music? Who? That is a very niche audience. Like, no. It seemed like Candy already clocked that Latasha's up to something. So speaking of which, next scene we're with Latasha and her husband. I'm guessing they're in Nashville, and they're at this record label. I think it's Motown Gospel. So we're sitting in on her meeting, and the executive asks her how she managed juggling Xscape as well as trying to pursue a solo career. And, you know, she says that Xscape doesn't even know that she's doing this, that she's even taking this meeting. So again, the problem. This is the problem in the group. This is why Xscape can't be great. I did not mean for that to rhyme. And then her sneaky husband said, oh, I didn't know you didn't tell him. Sure, Jan, sure. So then the executive tries to get Latasha to sing on the spot. Now, I always thought this was rude to ask a singer to do that because, you know, they're not a jukebox. But I'm guessing in this case, I mean, she's trying to get signed, so of course she should sing something. So she sings, and of course she sounds good. Latasha sounds amazing. She's just annoying as fuck. Yeah, I can't even hate. I mean, that sounds good, but what else is going on? We cut to her confessional and she says she got God and her man by her side so she can just pray for the best. I pray that she see the bigger picture because she ain't selling no albums. At least not a lot. Side note, this executive she talking to with that Mr. Potato Head hairline is very distracting. The guy then asks her, well, what about Xscape? What happens with them? And she can't give a solid answer. She's thinking real selfishly in this moment. You know, what else to expect from someone who's still $30,000 from their own sibling? But yeah, that's where the episode ends, y'all. This was a decent episode. It seems like the Xscape show featuring SWV. I'm hoping to incorporate SWV more in future episodes, but I get it. Like, they're getting along. They don't have as much drama as Xscape. I'm hoping that the two groups don't get into it with each other, but Candy did hint while promoting the show that they do. So that's going to be very interesting to see. Y'all let me know who y'all believe in the sisters drama and if Latasha is the problem or not. Anyway, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.